I remember my breaking point really well, where I was wandering through the grocery store one day, just starving. And we know that's never a good time to go to the store. Aimlessly just wandering through aisle to aisle, hoping that something would jump out at me that would be good to eat. I wanted something quick, I wanted something good, I wanted something nutritious, I wanted something that I wouldn't have to exert any energy to make. So after about a half an hour of just walking aisle to aisle, I gave up, went home. I was super depressed and just went to bed. The next day, I woke up and I was like, something has to shift. I can't continue to live my life this way anymore. And it was at that moment I realized just how depressed I had been over the past few months. And I had alienated myself from a lot of friends. I was living in this world full of rules and restrictions. I was just scrutinizing everything that I was eating to a level that I hated eating. And when I looked at my life, I realized that my life was the same way. Like there wasn't any joy, any fun, any pleasure in my life. Everything was just full of like rules and restrictions of these guidelines, self-imposed guidelines that I put on myself of like how I thought I should live my life. And the ironic thing is I thought I was like doing the right thing. I was like keeping my body healthy so I could be happy and help other people be happy, but I was miserable inside. And I had this realization that day where I started to make the connection that how I was eating was mirroring how I was living my life. And I knew I needed to start making some shifts, some changes in how I was eating and how I was living my life. Because if I started to eat in a way that was fun and pleasurable, I started to realize that I would start to bring more joy and pleasure into my day-to-day life, and everything would start to lighten up some. And that connection was really profound, that how we eat is a mirror to how we live our lives. And when I really looked at my eating through those eyes, through a different lens, then I was inspired to start to make some changes in my life. So I started eating eggs again. I started baking. I started incorporating meats into my diet. Again, I let go of other people's systems, diets, plans, ways of eating, and started to eat in a way that brought me nourishment, that brought me joy, that was fulfilling for me only. And that was a big shift, because up until then I had followed a vegetarian diet, followed a vegan diet, I had started following the raw food diet. But then I realized that all of these diets for a certain amount of time are good, but all diets have an expiration point if you don't find a way of eating that is going to nourish your emotional and your physical body. We have to eat in a way that is nourishing for who we are today. And as a midlife woman, I've really understood the necessity of that in my own body and the women that I work with, that we need to be flexible in how we eat in our diets. We need to be able to shift and change and eat daily in a way that makes sense for what we're doing that day. And as seasons change, like, we're energetic beings, so how we eat needs to match who we are being today. And that really goes against the grain of a lot of diets and systems that are out there. And I just got so tired of following other people's rules. You know, if you follow Anthony Williams, who's the medical intuitive, he is so against eggs. He's a medical medium, excuse me, that they call him, and he, like, eggs are the devil to him. Like, they're like one of the worst things that you can eat. You follow Dave Asprey, who's the famous bulletproof biohacking guy. And he says that eggs are one of the most bioavailable, nutrient-dense, cost-effective things that we could buy. There's so many people out there saying you should eat this way, you shouldn't eat this, you should eat this and not this. And I just got so sick of it. I knew that as long as I was following someone else's diet system plan, I was never going to be happy. So I threw it all out the window. I took the knowledge that I had learned from getting my master's in nutrition and just started eating in a way that felt good for me, that was nourishing for me. And it's been enjoyable ever since, where every day is an exploration. I can have fun with food again. I can explore. I can see how something feels inside of my body. I still feel like I eat a very healthy, nourishing diet, but now I'm eating in a way that I'm trying to nourish my emotional body just as much as I am my physical body. And I know that my thoughts, my beliefs, the energy, how I show up in the world, everything is interconnected. And those things are just as important as what I put into my mouth. And when you can find that harmony and balance of a way of eating that works for you, that's where the magic starts to unfold, where you're eating in a way that you're actually nourishing your emotional and your physical body. And I do believe that there are times when diets, cleanses, resets are needed. Like, we need to give our body a break from time to time. We need to cut things out of our diets from time to time, and just letting our bodies rejuvenate for a period of time, I think is really important. But when you're talking about a lifestyle and how you eat day to day, you really need to find a way that works for you and have the freedom to explore what that is. And working with someone like what I do with the women that I work with, that can help you to find what I like to call your own recipe for life. So what am I doing here? I'm actually making my new favorite drink, and it's called Homestead Coffee. I learned this recipe from Steph from Homestead on Purpose, who's absolutely amazing. I love her. I've learned so much from her. And at first when I saw this, I thought it was kind of nasty. Honestly, I didn't. But then I kept thinking about it, and I was really intrigued, and it's like I had to try it. I've tried bulletproof coffee. I've always had a deep love affair with coffee. And the bulletproof coffee, like putting butter in your coffee or MCT oil, coconut oil, when you're putting a fat in your coffee, what it does is it actually brings nourishment to your brain. It actually the fat works as a carrier that you're bringing nutrients to your brain, so the coffee feels completely different in your body. So instead of giving that just the caffeine rush, you're actually, from the coffee, when you're doing this, you're getting nutrients for your brain, which is amazing. So in this Homestead coffee, putting an egg yolk in the coffee, I thought, what? But then I tried it, and oh my God, it is like the best coffee I've ever had in my life. The other forms of doing butters and MCT oils and all of those actually are okay, but I never loved them. So it's like I did it every once in a while, but I never enjoyed it enough to do it ongoingly. This is a whole different story. I've been doing this for a couple of weeks now every day, and oh my God, it is so good. So I actually put some collagen powder in there to beef it up even more. And it's got the egg yolk, some whole cream, a little raw honey, which is my favorite sweetener. And one thing with eggs, I get my eggs from a local farmer. I get the eggs unwashed. I mean, I wish I could just go out and I lived on a farm and I could just get them myself, but I don't. I live in an apartment in a metropolitan type city that I don't have access to that, but there's amazing farmers where I can get my eggs. So I get my eggs unwashed. So if you do this, you do want to make sure that you're getting high quality eggs, that you're getting really fresh eggs, and going to the farmer's market is a great way to be able to find fresh eggs. So this is the most luscious, creamy, delicious coffee. It's almost like a meal in itself with the collagen that I added to it and the protein from the egg. Oh my God, it is so good. So I want to give a shout out to Steph and to thank her for this recipe. And I will post the recipe myself to give you easy access to it. But really look at your diet. Remember that how you eat is a mirror to how you're living your life, and you deserve to feel amazing in your body. So find a way of eating that truly works for who you are. And my name is Christy, and I have a lot of other videos about health and wellness on my bio page that I invite you to check out. Have a wonderful day. Cheers.